the Prison City Podcast. When the bars go up, you're officially locked in.
Welcome to the Prison City Podcast. I am your unofficial host, Patrick W. Cutler, and we have such a crazy fucking show here today. Like, I am seriously jacked to talk about all this shit. We're talking about the power of a woman's vagina, which is totally appropriate for four white middle-aged guys to talk about because we have insights on that you guys are really going to enjoy. I'm going to be honest. I'm going all out tonight. This is going to be fun. I'm taking out the fucking gloves. I'm going to say some things I haven't said at all. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a shitload of fun. And I'm sure Mahones, who's been on this for a while, knows that when I say I'm going all out, then that's probably going to be an interesting show. Right, Mahones?
Yeah, borderline terrifying, honestly. For me and any of our listeners, it should certainly, anytime he decides he's going to go all out, he typically does that. And so I look forward to, as he mentioned, talking about, where Cam Newton ends up after getting cut by the Patriots today.
All right. And Kelly, how do you feel about tonight's episode? By the way, credit is due, or credit is given where credit's due. And Kelly, a couple weeks ago, drunk or whatever, said we should do an episode on a woman's vagina. So that's kind of where we're at tonight. So Kelly, how do you feel about that?
Well, I got to correct you. I said we should do an episode about pornography. Mike Free said we should do an episode about the woman's vagina. So I guess it's hand in hand, but I'm going to be the woke person on the panel today and play devil's advocate, because I know a lot of you listen out there like, well, what do you guys actually know about this subject? Come on. So I'm just going to talk about something I know more about. So I'm going to talk about the man's penis all night.
Okay. And Matt, what do you have to say about all of this? Matt Cutler, everybody.
Mute the stupid fucking thing. Yeah, my computer's gonna update really quick, so I'm gonna move to the cell phone. Pat, you know what? I saw your fucking categories, and I guess I'm just ready to say whatever the fuck you have on your mind, because as we all know, none of us have no clue. So we'll just go from there, dude.
All right, cool. So tonight's opening topic here, and I'm going to try to do this more and more. I'm trying to get to a PCP playlist, Prison City Podcast playlist. So I have 4, 5, 6 topics we can talk about. Again, you bring on certain guests like Mike Fraser, and you need half a topic to talk about, and you're good. So, and we're going to meet with him after tonight's show. Just a second here. I'm talking to somebody really quick. I'm gonna have a special guest coming on. Just ignore that. Anyways, his name is Mike Freeze. I think you guys have heard of him before, and we're gonna talk about the fucking moon landing. So,
well, I guess as soon as a special guest jumps in, I will find my way off the episode. I think I'll have internet difficulties as soon as the moon landing gets mentioned.
I like how Matt's opening was like, I'm going to talk about whatever's in Pat's head, and none of us know, so basically I'm not going to talk the whole episode.
I love trying to figure out the stupid technology, man.
Hey, especially for the audio listeners out there, which is we get more stuff used from audio listeners. Mahoney's background is prison pizza. It's black and white, and he seriously looks like he's in front of the background of like the fucking Outer Limits.
Now let's start there with that, Pat. What are the outer limits of the vagina? Because I really don't know. Is that the fallopian tube? Okay, I don't know how to get into this
one. The idea of this show was we were talking about pornography, and so I swear Kelly said it. Maybe it was in a different dimension or something, but someone had said something along the lines of the power of a woman's vagina, and maybe it was me actually. Maybe I was the person that said it, but we had kind of talked about it 2 weeks ago. This is the Sandy Hook shooting hoax episode that Mahomes, I know he really missed out on, and basically at the end. At the end, Kelly talks about we're starting to talk about like pornography and stuff like that. So we were talking about that. So The power of a woman's vagina. Matt has officially left the show, folks.
Yep.
A little bit earlier than usual, but he somehow always has tech issues. He's come back in right now. Matt's coming back in. But I think for me, the context of it was the power of I guess in a lot of ways like biology, a guy wanting to have sexual intercourse with a woman, and the power that a woman has through sex is because I'll put it like this. 'Cause I read a book recently, and since I read one book, I'm an expert already. So
that's how things work these days. So
this guy had a quote, and this quote, and you guys, we start out here, and you guys let me know what you think about this quote. This quote is really fucking interesting. I think it's really true. Again, these quotes are not 100% accurate in every single situation, but he basically said in this book I was reading that a woman, any female controls sex, like whether you have sex or not, and then any man controls whether you get into an actual relationship or not. So what do you think about that, Kelly?
Sorry, of course you cut out halfway through because our internet's a piece of fucking shit. Just throwing it out there to our sponsor, Spectrum, who we pay.
So I'll rephrase it.
So I didn't.
Oh, yeah, let me rephrase it one more time. And this isn't for every.
I didn't hear what you said. No.
Yeah, a man can turn a girl down for sex, and a girl can turn a guy down for relationships. But the basically what he says, the ultimate power is a woman controls whether you have sex or not. A woman has sexual power, whether you have sex or not, and a guy controls whether you get into an actual relationship or not.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that obviously we were designed that way. It's human anatomy, because guys are, well, and there's all these arguments out there now like that. Oh no, girls are just as horny as guys are, and can you mute your video over there, young Cutler brother?
Sorry, we're good now, man.
Okay. Anyways, yeah, I totally agree with that. The anatomy and guys, most guys, straight guys will just have sex. Maybe gay guys too. I don't know, but guys will just have sex whenever they can. Most guys, and I think that's about a control thing. It's not a bad thing, but there's so much more to life than just sex. And I'm sure we'll get into sex transmutation, as talked about in the book Think and Grow Rich and a million other books out there. Transmuting all of that sexual energy into something productive, starting a business, your job, your relationship outside of the sexual world with your partner. So I totally think that that's true. But I think that in a relationship, I think you'll get as much sex as you want if that's not the focal point of the entire relationship. And that's just my 2 cents to open there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to Mahomes here in 2 seconds, but here's another thing, and like I found, like anybody that's been in a long-term relationship, unfortunately, I was in one. Like, how often, like everybody here is an LTR at this point. How often has it been a situation where she hangs sex over your head? Because every guy is fucking sees this, where she hangs sex over your head. It's like, oh, I guess he doesn't want to get laid tonight, or she says something off comment like that. Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's uncommon in any relationship, and it's probably not just like, I don't think it's just male female. I think it could probably be in same sex like relationships as well. There's probably some sort of holdout, to weaponize that thing. The one thing I think is interesting, what you started off with, is I almost feel like, for me, I didn't even really control like when the relationship started, because I was always just and I feel like most guys are like chasing the relationship, with the idea of there'll be some physical intimacy at some point in there, or you're just chasing like a companion. So I generally get what you're saying, but I think in the way my relationships have gone, I always felt like I was, chasing. There was like the thrill of the hunt of the relationship. And then when it gets to it, the other stuff kind of happens as the relationship grows.
I'll quick before I go to Matt, I'll say the thrill of the hunt, those types of things. I'll say this. I don't know why the fuck that is, but it's like the harder it is or the bigger the challenge, it's I don't know why it's more attractive. I have no clue why that is, but it's like that's definitely part of it for me. And I'm going to go into some stuff here that I've been doing lately, but I'm going to cut to that later on in the show. Really interesting stuff. Anyways, Matt, what do you think about everything so far?
Yeah. Once again, everyone's different. Everyone's relationship's different, you know, with what you have with your spouse or whatever, your girlfriend or whatever you got going on. It's all different between each people. So I think if you find a happy medium between that, you know what I'm saying? Because I for me personally, it drives me nuts if a fight is going on longer than a couple hours, because I'm like, okay, there's nothing good gonna come out of this. You know what I'm saying? Besides making up and doing that shit. But you know what I'm saying? So I think, yeah, everyone's different and everyone has a timetable, and yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you too. It's the sexual dominance of man, and girls want to beta alphas, which is something I'll talk about too. Is like it's girls really like alphas, but they also within a relationship like to make you more into a beta, which sucks because eventually you're such a gigantic pussy at the end of your relationship. I'm gonna be honest with you. If they're in my relationship, she basically wanted me to take her upstairs and fucking rape her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat, no one has
on a podcast now.
No one has any feedback on that. There's nothing else we can.
Well, maybe the special guest does, because coming on now is Pat's ex-wife. You are not the father.
Nice.
Good Lord.
Turns into Maury.
I thought somebody would have some more on that about male dominance. Nobody has anything on that.
Well, I mean, it just reminds me of our Uncle Tony talking about that, and I haven't researched this or anything like that, but it seems like, I mean, I'm not going to talk about rape, but I'm just saying it seems like, there is a dominant partner in every relationship, gay, straight, whatever, all the pansexual, all that shit, whatever it is, there's a spectrum for that, and there's a spectrum for gay and straight, because there's, the gayest of the gay shits out rainbows and unicorns over here to the straightest of the straight, grizzly football player after 3 bush lights. And then there's a spectrum the whole fucking way through where you're going to be dominant or you're going to be less dominant, no matter who you are with or who you're dating. And one person in every relationship is going to want the other person to be.
Oh shit, he cut out.
Cut out. All right. He cut out here.
He was really
fucking
he was really rolling there too. Gosh, he was really
you were rolling there.
Just
all right, everybody, we have
just can't do this anymore.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Jace Feldy. Hey, Jace.
Secret sauce to our most views.
Jace Feldy is joining the show, everybody.
Hear me?
Yeah. How
oh
often...
my god, that is Jace.
So Jace, we're gonna get this question right to you right at the bat. This is all planned. Everybody knew you were coming on. I'm just kidding. Jace Feldy's joining the show, folks. And how much do you think male dominance when it comes to a woman, like she just wants you to fucking rape her almost in bed because it turns around so much?
I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 easily. 9 out of 10. I'm not even kidding. It's insane.
I'm not even kidding.
Is that crazy? No, it's not. Rape's probably not the best word for what I'm trying to say.
Probably not.
I can probably think of a bunch of other words that would be better to use than that.
But like, it's so fucking weird because she wants
what you're trying to describe.
She wants you to control her in a way that's physically violent and leaves bruises in her vagina. No.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange thing, but it's very common.
Yeah. Hey, Jace, how is it tonight? Like everything? Did you know the questions coming in, or are you just kind of blindsided by shit?
Blindsided by shit.
Okay, because the rest of us got a little Bob Shock, outline of what's going on, and
so you're still
Pat's 3A. Yeah, so I'm still kind of digesting everything too.
Well, that's good.
So,
what did I miss?
this is kind of the start of it. We're just talking about the power of the vagina of a woman that has over a man, and how sex is kind of the strength of the woman to get a guy to do whatever. And that's kind of what we're talking about right now. But we really just went to that subject of rape, which that's not what I meant. I meant that it was consensual. Trying to backtrack.
Consensual rape, yes.
Physical dominance in the bedroom is what you're looking for.
Help me.
Consensual rough intercourse, I believe, is kind of the terminology.
Help me backpedal here a little bit.
Yeah, you went in pretty hard. I don't know if there's enough of us to fully backpedal, but it's probably like that. You guys remember a couple years ago that like 50 Shades of Grey and that whole thing that happened. I don't know if anyone was in a relationship when that happened, but it certainly it felt like things got a little spicier in certain relationships.
Exactly. Like, it's so fucking weird. Because we were watching that too. But towards the end, it was like, all right, here's the rules. I do whatever I want to. But it's fucking so hard for me as a person. It's so hard to actually flip that switch and be like, really? You want me to do whatever I want to? It's like so fucking weird. But that's what she wants. She wants you to tie her down and do all this crazy shit. And my load will not last that long. Jace Felty.
My load will not last that long.
It's your turn to speak, Jace.
Thank you, Jace. That was
Sorry.
pretty good.
I got these earbuds in, so everybody cuts out. It's not working as well as my big gamer headphones.
Go get your gamer headphones.
Go get your big gamer headphones.
Hang on, I will.
I just moved rooms, so hopefully we don't have as many internet problems. But I was going to say one thing about like the initial relationship when you first meet someone, whether it's a one-night stand or anything, when you first meet them or when you first start getting physical, the dominant person in the relationship generally is way more aggressive and stuff. And it obviously works. And I mean, that's why you get into a relationship, and that's why you become boyfriend, girlfriend, or eventually get married, because you are dominant and you are aggressive. And the other partner, again, whatever sex or sexual orientation they are, whatever that is, they are into that. That's what sells them. And then I think that starts to fade a little bit, obviously, especially the longer you've been together. And that's why it's bullshit to like withhold sex if you are the dominant partner or the less dominant partner. And can you mute your goddamn mic? It sounds like you're jacking off.
I'm gonna mute Jace for 2 seconds here because his music. I'll unmute you here in a second.
Jesus Christ!
All right, I'll unmute Jace here in a little bit. Kelly, go on.
But that's why it works. I was just saying that's why it works, and that's why you end up getting together, because one person initiates that and the other person likes that. You both like, and then again, the longer you're together, that's why withholding sex is bullshit, and that's why that's just why you have to try the longer you're together, because sex is important. It just becomes less spicy and shit, and that's why you see things like 50 Shades of Grey, and that's why you see like different sexual positions and things like that, because it's like to keep that and lingerie and whatever you want to say, because eventually it's just like, okay, same old playgrounds. Let's go to a different jungle gym, if you know what I mean. So you don't, so you don't explore outside of your relationship. You really need to keep that hot and heavy inside of your relationship if you plan to be together,
So I'm going to kick this next question to Mounds, because this is really what I wanted to say is like, it seems like the more I baited myself, went from an alpha to a beta, where I was just like, met all her demands, pleased her, whatever. The more I did that shit, it was like the less attractive, I wouldn't say even attractive. It would be like the more the relationship was strained. Whereas like the more like I gave no fucks whatsoever, it was just like, boom. It's so fucking weird to sit there and say to you right now that I had the line that was given to me, that's given to a lot of guys that get betamized by their women eventually. I'm not anti-women. I'm just saying this is how it works naturally. A lot of times she gave me the classic line. It's like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I got betamized so fucking bad, where if I just would have said, fuck you, fuck this, and just like stood up and just bed the alpha that I know I am, although I knew it was going to be lots of arguments and shit, things probably would have been a lot different. But with that said, I don't have any regrets. Anyways, what do you think about that whole dynamic, Mahomes, from your perspective?
I mean, in long-term relationships, there's the give and take, right? And you just have to, like, I think the end goal is you have to do the things that make you both happy, and you have to have a little bit of separation at some point. Like, have time to yourself, especially once you have kids involved, because you're just like, everything just revolves around like your kid and like doing all that. So you have to have a little bit of time to, like, I don't know, go on a float trip, for example, where you're just kind of unplugged, right? Like, you have to have some of that in there where there's not so much, like, because sometimes when the give and take goes, it can go one way is given too much and one way is taken too much. So you have to try and find a happy medium. And I think there's ebbs and flows to it throughout the year. Like, certainly other times some's given, some's taken more, but you got to try and find that happy.
Yeah, I'll add on there, and I'll go to Matt here really quick. It's relationships are so fucking weird too, and it's just not just about like slamming women or anything like that. That's not what it's about. But it's like, I discovered, it's like, the more you just give her whatever she fucking wants, is I can always go back to this. It's like, I gave her every fucking thing she wanted. She could do anything she wanted, and like that at the end of the day was not a very good strategy. Like, it fucking backfired big time. And that's it's kind of fucking weird. It's like, you think in yourself, like, logically, if I give her whatever she wants and she wants this or that or whatever, I let her do whatever she wants, then that's going to make her happy. But it's so fucking weird how that backfires, the psychology behind it. It's so fucking weird. Matt, go ahead. Jump on here.
Fuck. Did he call on me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. The fucking internet chopping out. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I kind of, I guess, relate it to theater. I guess, when you're in a good relationship, when it's kind of like, each other's lines, what I'm saying, of what, how to cover for each other. And so I think that's the bottom line. Yeah. If you're not being yourself, and it should never be give, because sometimes if you feel like, oh shit, I'm being a piece of shit, I need to go provide more for the household or whatever your living environment is, and step up and be a man or whatever. I think we all have a very good idea of what it takes to have a successful relationship. And yeah, bottom line, Pat, he's like, yeah, I mean, you get caught in a rut, and somehow it's tough to get out of sometimes. Like, you're talking about the beta alpha thing. Yeah, sometimes you do get caught in that beta. And I'm not just talking about one relationship. I'm talking about your entire lifetime, because we've all been in different positions the entire, whoever you're chasing or whatever you're dating in high school even. We've all been in a different position with someone who's either been the alpha or the beta. It's either been us or the other person, or I guess I'll leave it at that.
We've all been there before too, where you are the chaser and you have been the chased, and the more that you don't want it, you're not interested, the more you don't have to try, you put in a big fucking Copenhagen and you're drooling all over yourself, and it's just like, oh, fuck you. And it's just, somehow that's attractive when you're just like not turned on to someone, and we've all been there before. So there is some psychology behind that. Why is it? Because we've both been on both sides of that. Like, why don't you love me? No one loves that shit, getting on your knees. Please love me.
And I don't want to cut you off, but the game is so fucking weird, because it is a fucking game. Anybody that bashes these books for guys to pick up girls is mentally fucking retarded, because the game is the fucking game. The psychology is the game. I'll tell you right now, Kelly, why that is, and Mahomes was going to agree with me because he works in sales. Like, when you make something that is not readily available, that's scarce, that's like, okay, you can't have this whenever you want it. Like, girls, human beings, not just girls, but guys too, human beings just naturally like, oh God, I gotta have that. It's scarce. I don't have access to that all the time. Like, but when you do something where it's like, you do what you're talking about, and it's like, oh, please love me. I love you. I'm attracted to you. La, 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 la. When you do that shit, it's like, it's fucking like, oh, he's available. I can fuck him whenever I want to. It's like, you make yourself so fucking available to get fucked whenever you want to, that she doesn't give a shit about you whatsoever. Right, Jace?
Yeah, it's supply.
Sorry, go
One quick thing, Jace. It's supply and demand is what you're talking about. Supply and demand. You know, that's exactly what it is. And I think that's more about becoming mature and becoming an adult and knowing that sex or anything else, anything in the world isn't worth you changing like who you are or getting on your knees and begging for it. That nothing is worth that. And once you get that control inside of yourself, like, oh, you don't want to have sex? Okay. Then guess what? You're going to be having sex all the time. You're going to be getting what you want all the time just because you know that the more you want it, the less it's going to come into your life. So it's about being an adult. And one last thing, Matt said earlier, something about, you get in a fight for a couple hours and it's like, end it. This is stupid. I think even after a couple minutes, the older you get, the more wise you get. You sit there and go, okay, this is a fight brewing. And you might, we all want to be right. We all want to be right. And when I was in high school, in relationships or junior high, even college, it's like, no, fuck you. Really? You're mad that I'm late? Fuck you. And you get in an argument. And nowadays it's just like, yeah, I stayed an extra hour and had a couple beers with the boys. I'm sorry. And I mean, that's the end of it, and you don't fall into these pitfalls and these fucking traps where, it's not going to end well. That's just becoming wise, as you grow older, I think.
Okay, I'm going to squeeze a segment in here really quick just because Kelly's starting to nail a lot of things I want to talk about. Anyways, we had the, our dad's retirement, that fucking thing, and that was several years back, the Warden football retirement. And I went home because I had diapers and shit or whatever in my hands. I had left that place, whatever. She woke up the next day. I was like, I thought for sure you're going to spend the night with Mahomes or whatever in a hotel and just hang out. And she didn't even fucking care. It was like, you're so fucking used to just being like, oh, she's gonna be pissed about this or that or whatever. She's gonna be pissed about whatever. It's just fucking crazy. So what I've done though, since getting divorced, this is fucking crazy. It's so weird because I wasn't thinking at all. It's when you got divorced, you get, technically you're back in the fucking game. Whether you want to play the game or not, you're fucking back in the game. And I didn't want to fucking play the game. I didn't take it seriously at all. 4 months later, I'm like, I should probably take this seriously because I'm going to get back into a relationship, which is the number one thing I don't want. So this is where it comes in when Kelly's talking about the more you try to want something or whatever, the harder it is to get. When I started going on dating profiles and doing all this stuff and pretending that I wanted to be in a relationship, it became fucking so easy to stay single. It's so fucking crazy how easy it became to stay single. Because that's all. It's like you get out of divorce. Reality is, this is the truth. Most people get out of divorce and get right back into a fucking relationship. That relationship is a fucking train wreck going off the tracks. So it's like, I 100% wanted time to just chill and do whatever. And so I found that out. I was like, the more you try to not be in a relationship, the harder it fucking is. The more you pretend you want to be in a relationship, the easier it is to not be in a relationship. It's so fucking weird. Right, Feldy? Chime in, you fucking...
Jesus. God dang it, the hostility.
And
no, welcome. I agree to yeah, thanks for that. No, I do agree to it in a lot of points there. But being in a relationship.
Spit it out.
Sorry. No, being in a relationship, wanting a relationship and not wanting one. If you're looking for a relationship, you're not going to find it because you're anticipating it and you're wanting it. And every single day that you don't get one is seems like forever. But when you don't want a relationship and one comes about, you think it just sprung up on you and it's just right there. So the more you want something, the longer it's going to take for you to get it. It's just going to be a sense of time more than it is actual time itself. Does that make sense?
But I think you kind of know in the back of your head, when everyone was single and date, you kind of know in the back of your head, go on a date with someone or something yeah, I kind of know that this person isn't the one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bottom line, you kind of know that in the back of your head, so I guess that's the weird thing. It takes a lot of trying to figure out that, oh, okay, whatever, then you just start doing everything together. And next thing you know, you're getting fucking married next July.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back to the divorcing and kick things to Mahomes. Was Because I know me and Mahomes probably are not the same way, but it feels like you get divorced and you're like, because so much of your fucking time is spent with that other person, so much of your time is dictated by that other person. That's not necessarily a bad thing at all, but it's like me getting divorced, like immediately it's like I'm leaving fucking prison, I'm out of jail, I'm free, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And like you don't have any idea what you're walking into because it's like you're back in the game, dude. It's like that, like the Memorial Extra Life or Pat has rejoined the game. It's like, no, I did not join the game. I decided I was done with the game. I was like, no, you're back in the fucking game.
And then you went and jumped in the biggest pit you could find to kill yourself.
But anyways, taking it to Mahomes, who's been in a who's been a longer relationship than any of us currently, because I just obviously got divorced. Mahomes.
I mean, I don't have any, like, if something terrible happened and whatever, you know, I ended up single again and it didn't work out. I have no interest in getting back in the game. I don't ever want to experience the like uncomfortable first date. I never want to have to like put all that energy and effort to meeting someone's family and all that shit again. And like, oh, do her parents like me? Does her sibling like me? Do I like do and try to impress? Like, I have no interest in that at all. Like, if that happened, I can all but guarantee you I would be single for the rest of my life, because I just don't have interest in like, I'm playing hard to get. I don't want that at all.
Like, dude, like that's where like I agree like 1,000% with you. It fucking sucks. The best part about being married was that you're not in the fucking game. I hate the fucking. I don't want to play it. I don't want anything to do with it. I prefer to be single for the rest of my life or for a while now. But like, it's like fuck. You gotta wait all those fucking things again. It's just like nope.
I think guys and whoever are at an ultimate high confidence wise at the bar when you've been drinking all night. Do you know what I'm saying? But then it's a totally different thing when you're waking up, you're super hungover, you're in your underwear, your hair is a mess, you smell like shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and you're in the dating, when you finally settle down, so you want to have someone that I guess accepts you for the piece of shit you are, as well as how fun you were the night before, if that makes sense.
Yeah. We're gonna jump topics here. We're gonna go to pornography. Go ahead, Mahomes, take the floor on that. I'm gonna go take a piss really quick.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's actually an interesting topic that I think a lot of people have. I don't know if there's certain taboos about it, but I would bet there is probably not a person over the age of 18 years old in the United States, potentially the world, that hasn't at least seen some form of it. And that's whether you're online where it's at your fingertips in a couple clicks, or if you're watching some sort of show on HBO. I would bet everyone has had visual on it. Everyone knows it. Everyone has access to it. And I think that's probably the most dangerous thing is it's so easy to access for anyone on the internet that people just get lost down this rabbit hole. And all of a sudden, you know, you see all these stories about people that are addicted to it, and it's hurting their families, it's hurting their relationships, because we live in the era of just like instant access, instant pleasure. And that's what, I mean, to have something like that 2 clicks away where you can just get lost in that whole world, and it's not real, but in that it's like all you have this internal drive where this is like the only thing I care about. This is all I want to do. So I think it's something that everyone knows about. People don't talk about it for whatever reason, just like, but I think it's a weird thing, man. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's weird for people to like explore sexuality or whatever. I think people should be more open to talking about that, because that's life and that's how we're all created. But I do think like there's so much, there is a truth to the point of too much of a good thing. And I think that's certainly where we've gone with all the free content to just all sorts of deplorable things on the internet.
Well, Mahoney, I just have to add on to that. And you kind of touched on this, how accessible it is and how different it was when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time it's like someone, Jimmy has a Playboy or something. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot less accessible, I guess. You know what I'm saying? to us nowadays, like anything you can imagine in your head, especially us growing up, anything you can imagine, now you could probably get on the internet and fucking watch it. You know, like anything. And it's fucked up that way. It's just weird how that changed. And yeah, I think because everyone has a fucking cell phone now.
Yeah,
everyone can get on Safari. Everyone can do that shit. And fuck, they could do it while they're sitting there at their spelling bee or whatever.
Fuck Safari. But yeah, shit, I use Safari too. I forget that on the phone. There's a weird story though. Our Uncle Tony, and he probably doesn't want us to tell the story. You talk about pornography in a lot of ways is voyeurism. He told me he was a party in fucking Minnesota, and this girl's all coming on to him and whatever. And she basically told him, it's like you want me to suck your fucking cock and all this stuff. And she wanted her boyfriend, or whatever, wanted them to go downstairs and have her suck his fucking cock while her boyfriend watched. Like, that's a thing now.
Yeah, I've heard of that. That's crazy.
Like Mahoney said really quick, Jace. Mahoney said, so accessible. So and the problem is it's fucking free. It's like alcohol, you need a little bit of money. Drugs, you definitely need some money. Anything else, you need, it costs something, And pornography is basically free and one click away. And there's something about it that definitely scares me. I don't like what comes out of it. And even we all have a conscience, we all have something inside of us go, oh, that was wrong. So then, you watch something, and there's always the stories about, you watch something, then at the end, after you blow your load or whatever, you're just like, that's really fucking gross. Get off my phone as quickly as possible, And the scariest thing for me is that the people that are addicted to it, it's like, oh yeah, I've had people tell me, yeah, I watch porn 4 times a day, 5 times a day, jerk off. I'm like, that sounds like a fucking addiction, If I was like, yeah, throughout my day, I snort 5 lines of cocaine throughout the day, I probably have a little bit of a problem there. And I mean, you can go to the serial killers and all that shit, Ted Bundy, and I'm sure we'll go there. But obviously, there's something massively wrong with that, and it leads to worse and worse things, and eventually you're a fucking serial killer.
Well, isn't that's kind of what I was going back to saying though, how back when we were kids growing up, you couldn't buy that shit unless you were an adult or you had an adult that had it. And you know what I'm saying? Just making a point off what you were.
I just like talking about. I like in the middle, not even we're like 30 minutes in the episode, and Kill's like, we're gonna go to serial killers, which I know we're gonna definitely go to serial killers here at some point.
I'm sure we'll get there.
Well, that's why pornography is brought up in the first place. I think that's why we're talking about it, because
don't
something about a couple episodes ago.
If you mentioned Ted Bundy,
pornography is brought up because of So that's why
Ted Bundy is one of my biggest heroes in life. Anyways, go to Mahomes.
That's unbelievable. It's believable that you'd say it. But I mean, as far as I know, there's studies out there that if you look at that stuff too much, it changes. There's some sort of chemical imbalance in your brain, and it does become addictive. And it then, like I said earlier, it's ruined families. It's ruined people's lives where they're consumed with it. And maybe it's because the American culture has this weird relationship with their sexuality, and you're not supposed to talk about it. It's just something that everyone does, but it's got to be behind closed doors. And I would be interested to see if it's like that in European countries where sexuality is much more openly discussed and it's not as taboo, if there's as much of a pornography addiction in those countries as compared to the United States. I'm sure that's out there somewhere.
So I want to make a point here really quick, and not to counter what Kelly said there with the lines of coke or whatever, but unlike alcoholism or being addicted to drugs and stuff, a man physically, biologically, a human being, a man has to fucking ejaculate at some point, no matter what. You have no FAP, you have all these different movements or whatever to try to hold it in as much. And I believe what Kelly mentioned earlier, sexual transmutation, I believe a lot with that. But the only thing I would say about pornography is he shouldn't be addicted to it but knowing that at some point you have to ejaculate, and it sucks. In the sense that again, like I will never take a woman's periods ever. So God bless all women who have to fucking do that constantly. So I would take ejaculating over anything ever. I mean, not ever. I mean, okay, never mind. Let's go back to rape. What I wanted to say is, like, if you do not manually do it yourself, like, you end up having like wet dreams and shit. And I fucking hate wet dreams. It's just like, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Anyway, someone
there's our next shirt right there.
What dreams?
Wet
No,
dreams?
thank
No,
you.
thank you.
Pornhub.com.
Well, can I bring something up then?
Oh yeah, of course.
What about like the saints? What about like the saints and shit? All the saints and, like, you know, the Catholic holy people and Jesus. They're all
Wet
men.
dreams.
They had
That's the
they had lots of wet dreams. Like, you can't stop it. Like, you have to.
Can't stop it.
A male has to put out semen. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's the only reason
I
that
just
we're
read a
actually
thing
alive
about
right
that.
now. Yeah, really? It's the only reason we are actually fucking alive is because
Yeah.
a male has to put out semen. That's the only reason we're
Yeah.
alive right now.
Funny,
Yeah, the
so I was
amount that the
watching,
body produces.
What are you saying, Feldy? Do you have something there?
Oh, I was just talking about how the body constantly produces an X amount of sperm every day. So if you don't ever release it, it's just gonna keep building up.
Yeah.
So is that like, we're talking about like you have to ejaculate, quote unquote. Is there like medical studies on that? Like, is that dangerous not to? I mean, I know that I've heard prostate, doesn't something with like ejaculating help with or cuts down on prostate cancer or something like that?
It cuts down that. It cuts down on stress and stuff like that. I've researched this a lot.
He's like, hey, it's free to watch a guy jerk off online. I do it all the time. I do it a lot.
That's his research.
You want I'll tell you this one. I don't know. No one's heard this one. Steve fucking Jobs was diehard NoFap, did not believe in ejaculating whatsoever. He had sex with his wife, his longtime girlfriend or whatever. He never ejaculated ever. You can look this up. So Steve Jobs believed in the power of sexual transmutation, which, Kelly, you can take it over, sexual transmutation, but he believed big time in not fucking ejaculating, like big time. So you can actually
have a kid.
Yeah. So that was before. Well, I don't know the whole story. He had the kid, and then basically he found out that by not ejaculating, he had spiritual powers that would.
Yeah, I think he ejaculated at least once then.
And look where he is now.
In the fiery pits of hell.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, got us all addicted to this damn phone.
Yeah, well, I wonder what the true, I don't even want to use the word science, but I wonder what the true, science is behind that. Because I compare everything I've done a ton of times on this podcast to us being animals, because we are animals, right? And you watch like a bull just jump up on any cow at once and go to town. And I mean, that's most animal species. And it's just like, okay, so they do that, and we're this animal breed that obviously you're going to go to prison if you do that. But how do we take care of that need, that want, that biology, whatever it might be?
Well, yeah, I got a quick question before somebody else jumps in. What were we like before civilizations? Like when we were cavemen, did we just jump around boning every chick that we saw, just like animals do? Because other animals, they mate with one mate all their entire life and stuff. So like, were we barbaric like cows, or were we more like what foxes? I think foxes mate for life. Wolves maybe do.
Yeah.
What were we like before?
I don't know.
I think
Jace.
I know you don't, Matt.
I think human beings have come a long ways, obviously, and we've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations and a lot of
Hey, get it?
different
Come a long ways. Sorry. I think though, a good point
That's the
though.
name
It's
of the
like,
episode.
you go back to like Neanderthals, and people forget
Yeah.
there are a lot of different versions of humans that before we actually became fucking humans were Neanderthals and stuff like that. Like it's crazy to go back there, and they couldn't fucking adapt because evolution is a fucking bitch, and the best people are always going to fucking adapt. So humans, to become humans has taken a long fucking time for it to actually happen, and for us to actually be the most intelligent species on planet Earth right now. Although, if you're a guy, you still have to ejaculate at least a couple times a month.
Well, throughout human history, Pat, not to bring up rape again, but throughout human history, that's been like okay in the dark past. It really has, and it's still okay in some parts of the world, which is insane because we are in modern times, and we know now about whatever, we have laws and all that shit. We've come to adapt to like, yeah, that's fucked up as shit looking back on it. But I mean, as far as we know, back in the day, even back in the caveman day, yeah, I don't see that as being like something that didn't exist in their realm of history.
I just want to tell you, you're telling me that humans exist today because of rape? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Well, a lot of them, yeah, of course. But I'm just saying that it was looked upon much differently throughout history until very, very recent times where finally, the United States and other civilized places finally cracked down and said, yeah, that's not gonna fly here. That's not gonna happen here. So, I mean, I don't know what the fucking psychology was. I don't even think obviously it's not a crime even in some parts of the world today as we sit here.
Mahomes, would we exist today without rape?
Yeah. Yes, we would. I think there's everyone's need and want to be with somebody, I think would win out over the just disgusting carnal urges of people who can't keep their hands to themselves. So yeah, yes, I do think we would be here.
So another thing I wanted to bring up, and before we go to the next topic, we have a couple of topics here before Mike Freeze joins the show again. But I want to go back though, and maybe get this to Kelly. Do you realize like 2,000 years ago, when Jesus showed up, the Bible became whatever. You realize that 2,000 years ago, like we've only been doing monogamous relationships for 2,000 years, marriage and stuff. That's only existed for 2,000 years. The rest of human society history, it's always been polyamorous, hook up with many women and stuff. You realize that?
That's what I'm trying to say. You watch any other animal or any other species go at it. Is that consensual? Probably fucking not. It's just it's just what they're doing. Like they just do it. A monkey doesn't go up to another monkey and say, oh, would you like to have some intercourse this evening, my dear? No, they just fucking do it,
All right. Feldy, what are your feelings on rape?
Jesus. I don't condone rape in any manner whatsoever. Unless she wants it. Then I'm all for it.
Jace, we're gonna have to let you go, man. That's not what this show is about.
What is it about? Oh, am I supposed to condone it?
Not rape jokes.
Oh.
Okay.
I say one and I get my ass chewed. Pat's over there every other comment.
I know. I love Mahomes. I love Jace. Oh, I can only do it Sunday at this time, whatever. And today I was like, hey, you want to show up at the show randomly out of nowhere? Yeah, I got nothing going on.
And then
I don't have to work tomorrow.
Disgusting remarks that I'm so sorry for anyone listening like that. You guys and gals out there know that's not who we are as a podcast at all.
Well, in my defense, I wasn't making jokes about rape. I was just talking about history and how things have just changed. And that's actually, again, that's a very good thing in my opinion, my mindset that, that things aren't legal, but you can't just turn a blind eye and say that didn't happen, and isn't happening right now. So just wondering, the psychology of it is just very fucking skewed across the board.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to cut. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, it's weird, like with the animal talk, like, the birds wake up in the morning and they're singing, and that's like their mating call. And so there's something to that, because there's a bunch of birds that fly by. So there's a bunch of girls that are like, oh, this guy's singing sucks. And then one girl's like, hey.
Yeah, so maybe animal sex is consensual. You're right.
Well, and a lot of that shit
with the bird song.
A lot of that shit is Animal Planet bullshit. You ever seen like what, I don't know what it's called, but on Animal Planet, the history or whatever, where two men do battle it out to win. Whoever wins gets to screw the freaking lady of the land. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that kind of does happen.
So I would love to spend this entire podcast talking about Ted Bundy, but I'm going to move down the ladder here for our next topic, and this is something that I think is going to blow a lot of people's fucking minds. It's a weird fucking topic to talk about. Let me just bring this up. Feldy hasn't seen the playlist here. When I was in Alaska, I don't know if people saw my views the other day I posted, but when I was in Alaska, we get priests from all over, because the Catholic Church has shores on priests and stuff. And we get priests from India, we get from Africa. I had a priest come up there from Nigeria. Very cool guy. He spoke way better English than any priest from Poland. You guys want to know for a fact, Poland has the worst English that I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, so I'm talking to this Nigerian priest after our mass service one night, and I just because I know the stuff that goes on down there, I was just like, hey man, is voodoo real? That can't be like a real thing. Like, you're a priest, you're a part of the Catholic Church. So I mean, is that like a real thing, honestly, voodoo and stuff? And he gave me the most dead serious look I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. And he's like, you better believe it, because people down there, I have more stories than you would ever fucking imagine about voodoo spells and shit. So wow. I'm switching to if you can't rape her, which is God, I know.
Come on.
Okay, for the audience out there, this is joking. This is not seriously like do fucking voodoo love spells actually fucking work? And before I go on here, I'll go to Mahones here. I'm going to tell you right now, you guys go on Google and search voodoo love spells, and the top 15 results or whatever will all be saying it's fucking real. It's not even a joke. It will blow your fucking mind. There are only like a handful of articles that say it's not real. It's so fucking weird. So what do you think about voodoo love spells, Mahones?
To be frank with you, I've never once thought about it. So I don't know what I think about it.
But have you seen Shallow Hal?
Yes, I have. So I guess
same thing.
Is that it's not really voodoo, but it's that big-handed inspirational speaker, Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's all sorts of weird stuff out there, man. Like I believe in ghosts. I believe in aliens. So who's to say that there isn't some ancient stuff that these people have access to? I know I certainly don't want to say anything negative about it on a podcast and then like grow a tail tomorrow. So yeah, I think it could very well be real.
It's nice Shallow Hal reference.
Thank you.
It's so fucking weird. Like, the articles that are like negative about it are like, they're negative, but like, yes, it exists, and if you do it, be careful what you wish for, because it will not turn out exactly. There's all these examples of how it goes wrong, because you think about it to yourself. Imagine, so I'll say with Mahones here. Imagine though, if you casted a voodoo love spell on your current wife. Let's just say like before you didn't know her, you had a crush on her, and you got married, and 5 years down the road, how would you approach her and say, you know what, sweetheart, this whole time it was a love spell I cast on you. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. How would you approach that conversation with her?
I think if you're so far down the road that you're married, I just think you go ahead and keep that one to yourself. There's no way that's going to end well. I think that's one of those things that you just, you know what, I'll take that one to the grave with me. Things worked out.
So yeah.
Are you talking about like, so in terms of like, be careful what you wish for? What was that movie with Brendan Fraser where he made all these wishes with the devil and everything?
Bedazzled.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Like he kind of gets what he wants, but there's everything like there's all these other things don't work out.
As you wish, right?
You want me to give you specifics of what I read?
Please.
Okay, so here's just what I read. Basically, and Matt and Kelly can agree to this. There's a Twilight Zone episode where they have a love potion, or whatever. So one of the number one things is like she becomes so fucking obsessed with you that you find her unattractive. So it's just like, how do I get rid of this person? How do I break this fucking spell out? The second one they had is that when you cast a spell, like a love spell that you want someone to be into your life and you want them to be with you and you want them in love with you, you're casting the spell on yourself at the same time. So you become just as obsessed with her as she becomes obsessed with you. And then the third one is that I read online again, that if it doesn't work, it just boomerangs back to you because whatever energy you put out comes back to you. So you become more obsessed with her than you can ever imagine. So it's kind of interesting though. But I think the one that and then they said the third one's the least of your worries. I think though that one where she becomes so fucking obsessed with you that you find her unattractive, I think that is probably the worst result you could get out of all these love spells. Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't even sound like you can call it voodoo, but it just sounds like what happens in normal life. Like we just said this in the beginning, when somebody becomes obsessed with you, it's more of a turnoff. We all, again, are animals looking for the chase, looking for the hunt. Every single person, I don't give a shit who you are, everybody's looking for the hunt. And if someone's willing to, I guess, settle and be with you, then that's all well and great. But if you become there, I don't know. I guess I'm just going in circles here because, I'm not saying it's not okay to be married and together and obsessed with your significant other. But I just know that in the past, we've all had those relationships where it's like, yeah, I'm not into this. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then finally you're just like, fuck off. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And then that even somehow makes them more attracted to you. So I don't know if it's voodoo. It might just be real life scenarios, And I was thinking when you talked about voodoo love spells, it's kind of like that thing where they say, if you're looking for red cars, you're going to see a red car. Or if we bought that Jeep last year, you start noticing more Jeeps. And once that comes into your life, if you're expecting it, then it's not as much of a surprise, I guess. It's just like, oh, hello, you girl at the bar. Yes, I've been expecting you to be here. And so I don't know how much like voodoo or magic or witchcraft or whatever plays into that. I just think it's shit that happens in life.
Yeah, I want to keep this to Matt because Matt's seen that Twilight Zone episode, the Love Potion Twilight Zone episode, and Matt just went off. But I wanted to say though, he's back on. Okay, I wanted to say though, like, I'm telling you, like, look this shit up. When you guys get off here tonight, Google it. It'll blow your fucking mind. The stories you'll find, it'll blow your fucking mind. And I want to go to Matt here and sit there and say, like, and again, what Kelly's kind of talking about here, and Kelly's talking about law of attraction, and I believe what he's saying, law of attraction will attract what you want to your life and whatnot. But I mean, when you get to that point, though, imagine like this girl. Again, people fall in love with a girl or get infatuated with a certain person. It's like when that person is so fucking obsessed with you, like Kelly just kind of mentioned, like that attraction level, it goes fucking so low. It becomes such a crazy experience where it's like a lot of these spells online, it is like that Twilight Zone episode, which like you get a little bit of money to do the spell, and then the fucking undoing the spell is way more affordable. But what do you think about this, man?
I'm gonna pull up Biden and check my watch as the bodies go by. Sorry. Anyway, I'll go off your Twilight Zone references. The first one is the one where it's a nice place to visit where the guy dies and he goes to heaven. What he thinks that it's heaven, he can have anything he wants, all the beautiful girls, all the gambling and anything as much as he wants. But in the end, it's a curse because he's like, well, this isn't a challenge to me, So the guy tells him, well, you're actually in hell. So then the other episode, it's an hour long one. I don't know if you were thinking about this one the same way or whatever you were talking about with those episodes, but the one where the guy gets infatuated with this little doll at this dollhouse in a museum, so infatuated with her and thinks she's beautiful and wants to live with her. And at the very end, you see he actually becomes a doll and lives with the miniature people. And I think that really reflects life, how some people, some guys or girls, whatever, will completely change who they are just because, oh my God, this is my angel right here. And yes, I'll do whatever you say. You know what I'm saying? And that works for a little bit until down the road where it comes back to bite them, unless they're not a complete fucking pussy ass bitch.
Yeah, I like your comparisons there, Matt. Actually, I was just your comparison to Twilight Zone episodes there are really fucking good. But I was literally just talking about the Love Potion one. You remember that one? You remember that one?
Yeah. And that one's more straightforward than kind of what I was saying. But there's a lot of them that you say someone you too much.
I think the Robert Duvall one's such a good fucking example though. The dollhouse one, because it's like fuck. I feel like that all the time. Where it's like, I'm only here temporary. I'm gonna leave your lodge. I'm not gonna be in a relationship or whatever. And then I fucking one day I am in the fucking dollhouse or whatever. It's kind of it's kind of like Phil, to go ahead.
Well, I'm with Mark with this. I've never really thought about this much. The whole voodoo love potion shit, and I don't really believe in it. But is it in the same realm as like psychics we have here?
Yes,
it is in the same realm. A lot of people believe in psychics here, and a lot of people believe in voodoo over there. Do you guys believe in psychics? Do you believe they can see in the future?
I 100%.
I personally don't.
Sorry.
No, I don't personally believe in them, but it doesn't mean it's not legit.
I'm saying there's definitely a lot of scammers out there, and stuff. 100% a lot of scammers out there. But I think, I don't know, it's kind of based on your own experience and stuff like that. Like Kelly says, you see what you want to see. But for me personally, do I believe in it? Right now, yeah. I actually don't really want to talk about it. Anyways,
one thing I'll say, the one thing I'll say to that, Jace, is that the thing I find interesting is, even, like to Pat's point, there is a lot of people scamming out there, like Miss Cleo. Remember that? I'm like, call me now. That was a total scam, and we don't need to dive into that. But like, that's not even her real voice. But I find it interesting if you like go down this path, and if you listen to a lot of like murder mysteries and things like that. A lot of times when they're kind of down on their luck, they'll bring in a psychic and just ask. And there's been multiple cases where that person, whatever you want to say, maybe it's luck or maybe there's some sort of crazy connection there that we don't really understand. They've been able to help like locate bodies or locate clues, or so it's interesting that that's so common that the police will reach out.
So
sometimes it's hard to deny.
I would say Mahomes brings up such a good fucking point there. Is like, I didn't even think about bringing that fucking point up at all. Police departments literally use psychics. They literally use psychic people. It's really fucking interesting. Like,
I'm not saying it's not true, but I just don't personally.
It's you can believe whatever you want to do, and again, Kelly mentioned it perfectly. It's like you believe what you want to believe, and it comes true wherever a lot of times. But I mean, for me personally, it's just interesting as fuck. It's such a good topic. So we're gonna move off that topic though here, because we go on for this forever. But Mike Freeze really wants to join this show, so I can't keep him waiting anymore. No, I actually, so next topic, I'm going to talk about divorce, relationship statistics. And again, I'm not like, obviously I came out of a divorce 18 months ago, but I'm not like here to bash relationships or anything like that. Not what I'm here to do, but I mean, this is a weird stat. Listen to this fucking stat. This is such a bizarre fucking stat that nobody will tell you about it. It's such a bizarre fucking stat. So everybody knows like 50% of marriages in this country end in divorce. You know what's the more bizarre stat though? How many marriages are actually happy? Like they report, again, not my words, just statistics. 17% of people are actually happy in their current marriage, whatever. So you combine that together, and you can sit there and say 83% of marriages either end in divorce or it's unsuccessful marriage and someone's not happy. So that leaves you like a 17% success rate when you actually break that fucking number down. And I just think that's interesting as fuck. Not to slam anybody or bash any relationships, but what do you think about that, Kelly?
Well, again, I just think it's about you. I think it's about yourself and your, your threshold for what you will allow and what you won't allow in your life. So a lot of us are stubborn and we have giant egos and we're willing to lock horns at all costs because we want to be right and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, to have a successful or a happy relationship at all, and I'm not any expert. I mean, I just got married a couple months ago, but I mean, so far we've been happy for, over 3 years now. And it's just because it's my own personal mindset and it's my wife's own personal mindset. And, we say like, all people, bow down and worship their significant other. And yeah, to a point, you can be like, what a fucking joke. But if you're happy in life, my point is, if you're happy in life, I think you have cracked the fucking code for life, no matter what you're doing. So I'm not here to like slam anybody whatsoever, because you have found, like, I think what everyone's looking for is like, I am fucking happy. I wake up in the morning, I go to sleep happy. Well, that's one hell of a life that I think anybody would wish for. But back to the specific point is, yeah, I just think it's a personal maturity level and a personal choice to be happy. And I really think that goes back to just being yourself in every circumstance. And if somebody, we have uncles that have gotten divorced and stuff, because mainly, their significant other was, or insignificant other, I guess, because they got divorced, they weren't happy with the situation. And our uncles would just, smile and go, well, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And they left it. And I don't think that broke too many hearts or anything like that. And they went on to live creative, productive, happy lives outside of that. So I just really think it's an individual thing, and you make the choice whether you are going to make something work or not. And if it doesn't work, if you're battling that every fucking day, well, sooner than later, you should probably get serious with yourself, your significant other, and say, look, we're not happy at all. So this is not good for either of us. Let's split ways. And I've said it before on here, so I'll say it again, but Marissa and I got married because we agreed, like, we were, a little bit scared, like, gosh, should we get married, man? The divorce rates, everything Pat just said. And we agreed, like, we're both okay with getting divorced. We really are. And I think that's what makes us successful so far, because we know in the back of our mind, we're not stuck in this. We choose to be in this. Divorce is always an option, and we've always said that if it comes down to it. So that's my 2 cents.
And Jace, you've been on how many long-term relationships you've been in, to clarify on this one?
Depends what you classify as long-term, but I would say 2, 1.
All right, literally, what are your thoughts on this, though?
I mean, honestly, I've never even been close to wanting to get married to anybody. The longest relationship I've had was 3 years, and I was 22 years old, and I wasn't even close to wanting to marry her. And after her, I haven't even been close to that, as far as wanting to get married. So I guess I'm not going to get married unless I really want to. I'm not going to just marry because I'm pressured into it. Because I've had girlfriends, talk about it and want to, and I'm just like, no, not until I know for sure.
So,
that's your biggest reason, then, Jace. I just want to say, just to clarify, you just want to make 100% sure that that's the right guy.
Yeah, that's the problem. I've been dating girls this whole time.
That's all right.
Like, what the fuck?
So
that is okay, Jace. Like, nobody should want to get married. Nobody should want to do anything, It should just, if it happens, it happens. That's the way.
Hey, Cuts, why would I want to do the dishes?
I'm going to transition into my next topic here pretty soon. But Mahomes, have you ever been in a long-term relationship?
Yeah. Just so happens I have. I think the one thing, like, obviously we know the divorce rates, and I have one thing, just kind of a question, or maybe something to think about later. But what I will say is the happiness question is such a relative question. Like, you could ask me on a random Thursday, maybe I had a shitty day at work, or maybe my wife and I had just gotten over a dumb argument over like laundry, or, the dumb arguments you get when you're in a long-term relationship. And if you caught me at that time, if this person taking that poll caught me at that time and they asked me if I was happy, I'd be like, fuck no, I'm not happy. It's such a relative, like,
Yeah.
And I think that's marriage and long relationships are hard work. And I don't think like it's not what they show you in fucking Disney. There's no like happily ever after takes a lot of work. there's not just like, oh well, she's gonna wake up and love that I had 6 Rainiers and watched my favorite NFL team get their ass kicked. Like that's not part of their fairy tale, So you kind of have to.
Being single is hard too, though. Like life is just hard in general. Like Jordan Peterson says, life is fucking miserable. So we can talk about being married and talk about being single. It's all fucking hard. It's relative to where you're at this moment in life.
So the point I was going to bring up later, though, and this is I'm more curious because we won't know for a while, is now that same-sex marriage is legal, I'll be really interested to see the divorce rates with same-sex couples, because I think it won't be high at the beginning because they, wanted and fought so long to get married. But I think as it plays out more and it becomes more natural, I think you'll probably see like divorce rates kind of go that same way, because people think that marriage is this like, it's either a cure-all or it's some sort of fairy tale, and it's not. It's hard work, and sometimes like it's not super exciting or attractive to have to work hard. You got to want it.
Yeah. So I just want to chime in here and transition down to another topic on our list here. I the same sex thing. I agree. I would say I would halfway agree with you on that. I don't know. It's like I don't know. So it's hard to like fucking like really be able to elaborate on that because I just don't fucking know. But it does seem like same-sex marriage right now for sure are a lot more agreeable marriages, because opposite-sex marriages, there's so many differences and things you have to work through. It is fucking really hard fucking work. So I would say right now I would agree with that. Like same-sex marriage is like, I think right now the success rate will be a lot higher. But down the road, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So what I want to alliterate here to Kelly's point, this is on our topic list, is like a lot of problems is with marriages, and you talk about the percentages that I just gave, and then it sounds pretty grave, but at the same time you have to realize that people want to find themselves in social norms, and they want to be with the majority, and they want to be like cool and all these different things. And you go on back in the day when we were kids, Mahomes, your dad would turn on the show, and it'd be Sports Center, and it would show the highlight reel of the day. Today's highlight reel is fucking Facebook. You go on there and watch everybody's fucking highlight reel. That's all you ever watch. And the biggest problem I have with social media, I mean, I have a lot of problems with it. I wouldn't say this is the biggest. This is one of the problems I have. It's like, if you are married or in a relationship, it's that being viewed as being successful, regardless of whether you're beating your wife, whether you're happy or not, that being regarded as successful is on fucking meth these days. Where I see these people posting like they're solely sad, they're solely upset because they are not in a relationship, because that's what social media tells them now. Well, you're successful because you're married, you have kids, you're in a relationship, all these different fucking things. It's like, it's so bad right now. It's so fucking bad where your relationship status on Facebook, whether you're married or single, and God forbid you're single, because then your life's out of control if you're fucking single. But man, if you're fucking married and have kids, well, wow, you're the fucking, you might as well be the fucking president of the United States. My fucking God. Anyways, but Kel, that's you alluded that, and that's why I've seen it. And I felt this way when I was married. And I felt this way the exact same way when I'm single. What do you think about that?
I just don't think it matters. I don't think anything matters. And trying to find happiness in someone else or something else is a waste of time, because I mean, it's all cliche, but you're never going to find happiness until you find it yourself. You got to be okay with yourself. Once you're okay with yourself, pretty much everything you want in the world will come into your life, because you're grateful for what you do have. And, and you're not, I don't know. It's just such an individual's journey through this world. And you can't worry about being married or nobody loves you or anything like that. You can't worry about that shit. And once you actually stop worrying about it and just go on with your life and build a career, build a business, be creative, be imaginative, do something, for yourself. You should do everything for yourself. Then the people that need to be in your life will come and be in your life. It's that fucking simple,
Did Pat leave?
He died.
Oh,
Oh,
just gotta go off Pat's point. It has nothing to do with I guess what the original topic was, married and divorce statistics. But yeah, Facebook is kind of a brag book, but at the same time, people want to see what you're doing. You can look at it however way you want to,
Well, it's a brag book, but Facebook is also like, there's so much bitterness and jealousy and anger that goes into it too. And that's all of us on this panel. I'll scroll through Facebook and half the time I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, good for you, or that's awesome. The other half is just like, shut the fuck up, you morbid piece of shit.
It's what's funny is like this week I've just done a thing, and it's only what, Tuesday. But this week, when I wake up in the morning, I'll scroll through Facebook, and I've done a thing this week that the first like hateful piece of garbage shit I see, I just get off Facebook. And yesterday it took me like 10 scrolls, and then today it was like the second thing I saw. So, and I just get off. It's not surprising when you think about it, though, that Facebook started as a like ranking, like rank the attractiveness of the girls at this university, and now we're essentially ranking our lives against other people. And when we're not doing that, we have people in their middle ages spreading misinformation on bullshit news stories that are eating away at our democracy. So it's all in all just a great thing.
Okay, Mark wants to transition into politics, I assume.
No, I was just making a point about how terrible Facebook is.
Yeah. Matt.
Yeah.
He already
talked. He
gave his point when you were taking a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Feldy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. King of you guys. Did you speak yet, Feldy?
Yeah, we're good.
Speak, God damn it.
I don't really have a.
He's really stuck on MySpace still, and he really thinks that's the one that should have won out. He keeps updating his song that plays
my top 8
site.
Are you
my top
rolling
8 mark, and you're not in it.
What are you doing?
That's fine.
Dude? Looks
I got work
like
to do.
you've been rolling a joint all night or something.
No, I just have this little temp stick in front of me.
Oh, I get you.
Sorry, but no, I don't really. I'm tired of social media.
Yeah. So transitioning off of that and like happiness and stuff like that is like, if you need somebody else to be like, make sure that you're happy. And we have an aunt, me and Cutler Brothers here. We have a fucking aunt who has to be in a relationship with another guy to be happy, which is really fucking pathetic. But it's like, if you need someone else to be happy, then you have a lot of issues in your fucking life, Feldy. I'm just kidding.
Actually, I do have something to say about. It's not necessarily about relationships, but I had this young kid that I work with. He's 18 years old. He asked me how I do it. I was like, do what? He's like, how do you do this job? Like, you don't drink, you don't do drugs. How do you make it? And he's in a fight with his girlfriend who's like 16. I was like, dude, you just gotta learn to be happy with yourself and being alone. Otherwise, you're gonna be drunk every night like you are right now. And that's the truth about anything. If you can't learn to be happy with yourself, how are you gonna be happy around other people?
He's so right.
It's 100%.
So right.
It's dangerous, but it's true.
If you could be happy with yourself and not have to be in a relationship, you're pretty much unfucking-stoppable in this world, especially now with social media.
I'm sure he was happy with himself this morning.
Watching all that porn.
For all of our listeners, Matt is making the jerk-off motion and looking in Feldy's eyes.
And you need to at least ejaculate twice a month to be happy. That's science.
Those are the two keys to a happy life. Be single and jerk off twice a month.
Yeah, when I jerk off, I like to wear a mask. So if I have a big squirter and it gets on my face, at least I'm wearing a mask.
Jeez. Okay, next topic.
Or like when you actually click on someone sends you a message and you go to the prison pizza chat. God damn it!
God.
That sounded like a very real life example that you just gave.
Prison pizza chat's the only thing I could think of for some reason out of all the ones I'm in.
Because it just happened to you last week. That's why.
This morning.
Yeah, I was saying last week.
Yeah, social media is toxic at best. My take on it, and I've said this on this podcast, and I've said it a few times on social media, is that it's a great fucking business tool. That is the best thing social media is. It's a great fucking business tool. I've talked to Pat. I really want to transition to where I'm not putting like any of my personal stuff on there, or I'm like one of my relatives that has 20 friends or some shit, 20 friends and family for that personal stuff. Outside of that, I just want to put like comedy and shit on there. And so I'm going to transition into just that, like my own comedy Facebook page, or like the Das Fruit TikTok or whatnot. That's really what I want to do. It's like, this is what you get from me. You don't get the arguing about fucking politics or like something stupid in Deer Lodge, which I read all the time. Just some, we did a podcast on it a few weeks ago, but I read that shit all the time. And then after reading like my 400th comment, I'm just like, why am I interested in these fucking people's lives, So that's what I want to transition into.
All right. Are we done now? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I think the horses are ready to get rounded up.
Horses are ready. So the last topic here tonight, make this quick. I labeled it the fucking game, the game of attraction and stuff like that, of hooking with girls, all these different things. I've read so many fucking books for a while now. And what I've done with these books is I've used them for reverse psychology. What I mean by that, so I literally went out of my way to try to stay single. So I would literally have done the complete opposite of what the books actually say. So I'm just going to go through this really quick. Number one thing to get for everybody who wants to stay single and not attract women at all. Cody Furman, I'm talking to you out there for your video games. Number one, you're in the game no matter what. You're in it no matter what. So you don't want to play it. Well, you can't not fucking play the fucking game. So you might as well fucking play the game. Number one is like, for me personally, to get, this is like the big segment at the end, to not attract girls. Number one, talk about sex right up front. Because every fucking girl thinks she's a little fucking princess and she doesn't want to be slut shamed at all. That's the number one thing. So talk about sex right up fucking front. Number two, me and Kelly have talked about this. Act like you really want to be in a relationship. Act like you're super fucking available. When you do that and you make yourself super available and not scarce, it's like easy for her to be like, oh, I can fuck him no matter what. That might not be true or whatever, but it's about the fucking narrative you're trying to spin here, right? Right, Feldy?
Correct.
So talk about sex right off the bat. Act like you're super fucking available to fuck her whenever. Then number three, here is a pretty simple one too, for everybody that does not want to be in a relationship at all. Say stupid shit like she's pretty, she's beautiful, stuff like that. Because once girls were like, oh, he's saying I'm pretty, I'm beautiful. I can get with, again, it goes back to number two. It's like, I can get with him no matter what, because he thinks I'm pretty and beautiful and these things. So the idea in this entire process to stay single is to honestly work really fucking hard to make yourself seem super available, number one, and number two, make yourself seem like you want to have sex with anybody at all. That is a key, and you will stay single a very long time, and that is the rules that I have learned from the game. So with that said, let's round the fucking horses and get this shit over with.
Feldy, you look like you wanted to say something there.
No, I was just gonna say, maybe mention that you have STDs as well. That always works. that tends to push them away. Yeah.
That is quite the trump card to pull out right away. But yeah, certainly.
Well, it scares them away.
Mark, back to politics.
Back to fucking
sorry. Do we have to change? Do we have to? It was Trump card before he was president. So does it change now? That's quite the Biden card you pulled.
Yeah, I think on those points, I don't know. I think like I think you can't hide your will or your intentions too. So like,
Yeah.
whatever game you're trying to play, it's like that's going to bleed through. That's going to be transparent no matter what. Like, yeah, you know, I do want to hook up. I do want to stay single, whatever it is. People know, even if they don't think they know like subconsciously what you're playing, what you're trying to do. So it's just a tough fucking game. And yeah, I don't know if this is our final statement or whatnot, but mine is just, again, to go back to be you, do you, focus on you. Don't worry about anything else. If you get married, great. If you get in a relationship, great. If you don't, also great. Like, the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is as green as it's fucking going to get under your feet right this second.
Yeah, I agree 100% with that. And I'll also add that I literally am trying to play the game not to be in a relationship because this is a lot of fucking fun. Like, I cannot tell you how much fucking fun it is. And the other part, though, is I want to say to Kelly, not even Kelly, the Mahones and Feldy, and Matt's phone died, so unfortunately he's gone. Do you know the prime of a man's life right now? In today's day, a prime man's life is fucking 35 to 50. That's your fucking prime. So it's like, don't waste your prime, you know, Feldy, fucking some hooker down the street that you think you're fucking in love with, and she drains all your fucking energy out of your ball sack.
Which would actually be healthy if you only do it twice a month, apparently.
Exactly.
Numbers don't lie, Jace.
Numbers, neither does science.
All right, so let's wrap things up here, folks. We went through a lot of categories tonight. A lot of stuff we could still spend a lot of time on, but we're gonna move on here because I hear Mike Freeze really wants to join the show here any second now. So tonight's episode, it's been fun. Let's go around the horn here and get the last statement, starting with Jace Feldy, since he's on the screen right now.
Oh man, I'm just happy to be back. I love when you call me in just to talk about sex with women. Like I have the experience. Yeah.
See, Jace, that sort of self-deprecating humor, that's what this podcast is about.
Oh, I've just been trying to touch on a little bit of everything until I got a hit. So I finally got it.
So, I mean, that's
good.
That's what you got to do. Keep swinging. You'll eventually run into one. Proud of you.
But the only thing I learned from tonight, though, is rape's okay. Right? Is that what we decided?
Fuck
I'm
me.
still on the fence.
So
I'm still on the fence about that.
Yeah, in 600 BC Egypt.
Oh.
Come on, dude.
Oh, okay.
That is
I just had to set this. Cut his mic. I'm done. Move on. Next.
So let's go with Mahomes here for his final statement.
I think the one thing I'll take out of this one today is I am going to fight and claw and do everything I can to never have to be back in the game and never have to meet another set of parents or family members, no matter what. And if something happens, I now have a playbook courtesy of the host on how to stay single. So I appreciate that. So to anyone out there who's in that same circumstance that you never wanted to go through all the nonsense of courtship ever again, please make sure you're taking notes.
Thank you very much, Mahomes. That's the biggest comment I've ever had on the show ever. So Kelly, go ahead. What are your thoughts here as you finalize this thing?
Well, I want to thank our I mean, he got the most on any Prison City podcast in the past.
All right, time out. You're breaking up. Just sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
Start over.
Oh, fuck my liver. Okay, I'd like to thank our host, Jace Feldy, because he got the most downloads in a PCP podcast ever a few weeks ago. So it's nice to have him back. We'll see if we can break that again. If Jace is our little sugarcoat there, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk too much about sex transmutation, but I implore everyone to go look that up. It's in Think and Grow Rich, and it's just a topic on its own. It's about taking all that energy and power and put it into productivity and something else. And it really does work. If you can just get your mind off of sex and turn that energy somewhere else, man, you will be sitting very, very successful in your own life. So look it up, sex transmutation.
So, and just to finish things out here, I agree with whatever Kelly said and Feldy and Mahomes about being single, because everything that Mahomes said about being single, I fucking hate. I agree so fucking much. It's like, I can't even talk about it. So like I will try to stay single as hard as I can. The worst part about staying single for me right now is really this podcast episode, because once people find out that I'm like, oh, he's trying to stay single as fuck. Again, the reverse is going to fucking happen. We've already talked about this. So I seriously hope like fucking 2 people watch this podcast tonight. That would be my blessing from God. 2 people watch this tonight. Anyways, that's the show, guys. Have fun, and we'll talk to you next week.